And that is why a lot of innovations don't happen. If you're a VP or a senior VP, you don't lose your job if you grow your business line from 2 to 12% each year, but you might lose your job if you try and go in a totally different direction and waste a lot of money or tank your own business. And that is why a lot of innovations don't happen. I thought when I started Mizzen Main that I was some genius who was the first person who ever really thought of this. And as it turns out, every major apparel company had looked at this idea and said, no, not interested. And in some cases, they just generally thought, we just don't want to do that. And in other cases, Brooks Brothers is the example that I've used for years. When we introduced Mizzen Main, we're better in every way than traditional cotton. You're going to look better, you're going to feel better, it's easier to care for, it's easier to travel with. Why would you ever buy a cotton dress shirt ever again? That's real hard for a business that's doing many hundreds of millions of dollars a year in cotton dress shirts to carry that message. Even to introduce it in a subtle way, it took them, I think, 5 years of Mizzen's meteoric growth before they started to introduce somewhat of a competitive product. And now they have something. But that's a hard thing for big companies to do.
Well, it also reminds me of the, just being around Lane and Andy and around here, talking a little bit more family office people. But rule number one of family offices is don't lose money. So it's like, VCs, they don't want to lose money. Big businesses don't want to lose money. So
that said, VCs are geared towards, we're going to make 10 investments. One is going to return the fund. One will do okay.
Right.
And then the rest will probably not make it. We talked a little bit at the beginning of the kind of journey of investing. As I've built this and talked to a lot of other founders, I don't know how many I've talked to that just, if I could just find a family office that believed in my vision. And my counsel to them, we've had a lot of family offices invest in Harper and in Mizen. Every single one of those was because I knew one of the principals who said, I believe in this and I want to be a part of it. Because largely family office infrastructure is designed to say no to these things as fast as possible. And in some cases, it's, the family principal goes, oh, let me have you talk to my office. And then on the side, they're going, find a nice way to say no. And that's okay. That's their own money. That's their own investing strategy. But, there are different risk profiles for different reasons. And, coming full circle back to big companies, Amazon bought Ring for $1 billion. Amazon has every engineering prowess and marketing capability in the world to just build what Ring built. But they bought Ring because they needed the distribution and the brand name and the customer satisfaction and the customer love. There's so much more to a business's success than is the product good? And that's one of the things that really, I feel like, was a huge lesson from Mizzen Main. Anyone could have made the shirt. It was not that technically complex. It took me a long time to figure it out. And with Harper, anyone could have made a camera and a monitor that had the same functionality. But it's, can you build a product that people love and they tell their friends about?
Well, on the Mizzen Main, to me, it's a fascinating case study because it's like, from the outside looking in, it's like you got a foothold into the CrossFit athletic community. Then you had, I almost said J.J. Abrams. You got J.J. Watt. And
yes.
You get all these celebrity endorsements. The massive athletes who probably have never worn a traditional shirt ever because they can't fit into it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, here they are looking good in your product. Like, what lessons did you get out of that? Because it's almost like you went the culture route versus like, let's just make a good product.
Some of that was intentional and some of it was accidental discovery, and things really started to snowball for us. In terms of the lessons for how we're building Harper, brand is first. We spent a lot of time making sure that the brand resonated, and when people see it and they hear us talk about it, they understand exactly who we are and why we're doing it. We have worked with several very great momfluencers, one dadfluencer. When I started Mizzen Main, the idea of an influencer was just sort of starting, and people made a lot of fun of them for a while. And now, you talk to some influencers that they command $40,000 to $80,000 per post, and these are not celebrities. It's just because of the following that they've built. And so with Harper, a big part of our focus has been partnering with moms, largely on Instagram, because people need to trust who we are. And so, I have jokingly bought 2 billboards so far, largely as a PR campaign, but nearly all of our marketing spend has been with influencers and on Meta and Google, as opposed to how anyone would have started a business 10 to 20 years ago. That would have not even been a consideration, right? And so in terms of kind of brand and culture, for us, our story is very real. It's central to why I started the company, and it resonates with people when they hear it. The other critical piece is partnering with folks who can tell our story, and not just sending them a check, but that they use the product, you can see it being used in their lives, and they are telling other people, I'm excited to partner with this business because look how much it's helped me. That is, again, not hardly in the realm of possibility in the early days of building Mizzen Main, but over the course of building Mizzen Main, working with those pro athletes, they did have shirts, but they were 100% custom. And when they put on our shirts, they fit better than custom because they stretch in all the right places. And they feel better, they wash better. And so when pro athletes started wearing it and telling people about it, whether or not we were paying them to, it really took off like wildfire.